What's going on, guys? The SSN back again with another video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully you're having a great day so far. How about them Dolphins, baby? How about them Dolphins? This was a solid game today. We shut out the New York Jets, and I did do this in the last video that I posted, the kind of preview to the game. I was definitely anticipating a win for Miami, hopefully by a large deficit. I was thinking somewhere right around 34-7 or 34-10. The Dolphins actually shut out the Jets today for the first time since 1982. It has been quite a while since the Jets have been shut out by Miami. The score at the end of the game was 24-0. It was really just Miami from beginning to end. We absolutely controlled this game, made it so hard for the Jets to do anything. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about the stats. Obviously, we're going to talk about a couple of key points and things that I want to mention about what I saw on the field today. So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about stats. I'm going to check my notes here. Got my laptop in front of me. So stats-wise, let's talk about the Jets first. So the Jets passing, Joe Flacco did get the start today with Sam Darnold's injury. 21 of 44 for 186 yards, no touchdowns, and one pick. Thank you so much, Xavier Howard, who is really coming out. The last 4 games, guys, last 4 games in a row, he has had an interception, and he is on pace for a monster season. So big game from Xavier Howard today. Joe Flacco not really able to do anything. On to the rushing game. Frank Gore carried the ball 11 times for 46 yards, no touchdowns. Ty Johnson carried the ball a few times for 42 yards, averaging 14 a carry. Really kind of just because of that one big game. I think he ran for 34 yards on his one big carry of the game. You got LaMichael Pirine carrying 7 times, 27 yards, and that's about it. Moving on to the receiving game, New York, Brashad Perriman led the way with 4 receptions for 62 yards, no touchdowns. Jamison Crowder came next, 7 receptions, 48 yards. You got Frank Gore catching the ball 4 times for 24 yards. Not bad to see him involved in the game. I like Frank Gore. He's a Miami guy. I've always liked Frank Gore. So in spite of the fact that I obviously don't like the Jets, I was happy to see Frank Gore doing this thing. And that's pretty much it receiving-wise, guys. So the Jets offense could not get rolling at all today. One thing that I'll definitely touch on and talk about a little bit later on here in this video is the Dolphins did such a good job at just disrupting Joe Flacco right out of the gate. Since from the start of the game to the end of the game, we were always in his face, always had pressure on him. And that's something that I've been stressing so much over the last handful of videos is if the pass rush is not there, our cornerbacks, there is no way they're going to be able to cover for an extended amount of time against any NFL receiver. No cornerback is good enough to cover for 10 seconds every single play, so we have to establish that passing rush, and we definitely did that this game. I was extremely happy to see that, and that's why we got the game out of Flacco that we did. The 186 yards, no touchdowns with 1 pick. It was a tough game for Flacco. He couldn't get anything going, and a lot of that was credit to our defensive line today. So let's go ahead and look at Miami's passing game today. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 18 of 27, 191 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Had a QB rating of 93.3. This was an average day for Fitzpatrick. I think he definitely had flashes of playing really solid football, making the right reads, getting the ball to the right person at the right time, including a couple of bigger yardage passes. But his 2 interceptions, one of them was just straight at the guy. Fitzpatrick, it's just what you're going to get from him, guys. We're going to get one solid day, and then the next week could be something completely different, and that can even go season to season as well. A good season followed by a bad one. That's just kind of the nature of who Ryan Fitzpatrick is. But consistently, guys, he has been the heart and the soul of the offense. He is really just one of those guys that even though he might not be the best, he reminds me a lot of what Tim Tebow was to the Florida Gators, but then also to the Denver Broncos when he was playing with them. He might not be the best, he might not be the most talented, but he's a winner and he inspires the team to play better and to try as hard as possible to win. I see a lot of that in Ryan Fitzpatrick, just that drive that he pushes the team towards to win games. So an average day for Fitzpatrick, nothing crazy, nothing awful. So just right in the middle for Fitzpatrick. This is a big one, guys. Tua. We finally saw Tua. How about Tua? It was honestly so exciting watching the game. This was literally about 10 minutes ago. The announcers said Tua's stepping onto the field with about 2 minutes to go in the game just to get him some reps in the NFL on the field. And we do have our bye next week, so it's good to just kind of let him get a few snaps as the starting quarterback for those couple of plays. So we got Tua on the field. The crowd went absolutely nuts. We had barely any people in the stands, and it sounded as loud as a game would ever sound. It was super, super cool to see him step on the field. He was perfect, 2 for 2 for 9 yards. Obviously no touchdowns or picks. We were pretty deep into our own territory, but regardless, guys, it was really cool to see Tua step onto the field, and he looked comfortable. His very first passing play, he rolled out of the pocket to his left, made a nice pass to Patrick Laird. So it was just good to see Tua, guys. It's something that was really exciting to watch him take his first snaps in the NFL. And, if it's any indication what he was able to do in just those 2 plays, I know that they were small plays, nothing crazy, but if it's any indication, I think Tua has the potential for an extremely bright future in the NFL. So that's, the big takeaway, I think, for me with Tua. I was just excited to see him on the field. Next up, guys, we've got Myles Gaskin carrying the ball 18 times, so short of 100 yards, but 91 yards, 5.1 yards per carry. A really, really, really solid day from Myles Gaskin. You've also got Matt Breida carrying it 6 times for 15 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick only had to carry the ball 1 time. 1 time for 4 yards. That is all we needed from Fitzpatrick, and that is something to take away from this game. There have been so many times, far too many times, that Fitzpatrick has come out and had to lead the team in rushing or be second in rushing, and just he has to carry the ground game on his shoulders. And I was so happy to see him only have to run the ball 1 time in this game. That was a very, very big takeaway from this game. So let's look at the receiving game for Miami real quick. We've got Adam Shaheen. Actually had a pretty good game. He did 3 receptions, 51 yards, including a long 43-yard reception. He was wide open, got tripped up about 5 yards from the end zone, and he did catch a touchdown early in the game. Got Jakeem Grant becoming a little more active in this game. 4 catches, 48 yards. Devontae Parker, 3 catches, 35 yards. Also had Preston Williams, a couple of catches, 18 yards, but 1 nice touchdown grab. And then aside from that, Myles Gaskin just staying active, doing his thing. 4 catches, 35 yards, no touchdowns, but a really, really solid day. I think the standout guy to me offensively was Myles Gaskin. He is, guys, the first Dolphin running back, that is, the first Dolphin running back since, let's see, I'm going to check all my notes here. It's going to be since 2018. I don't know. I think it's December 18th. And correct me if I'm wrong down there in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that it's the first Dolphins running back since 2018 to rush and to receive, I guess, just total scrimmage yards over 100 yards. So it was good to finally see someone break through that barrier and get 100 yards total as a running back, because it's been rough the last few years for Miami. So really, really good day from Myles Gaskin. So let's move on defensively real quick. For the Jets, not a ton to talk about. You had Terrell Basham getting a sack. You had Bryce Huff with a sack as well. Nothing bad, nothing crazy. It was just, so a couple of sacks, routine things that are going to happen here and there in a game. The offensive line kept Fitzpatrick pretty clean throughout this game, and that was really, really good to see. Aside from that, there were 3 QB hits on the game. Not anything crazy, 4 passes defensed, but there were a couple of interceptions. That's going to be by Brian Poole and Marcus May. Now, Brian Poole also did have the opportunity for another interception later in the game, but he did drop it. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick, as I said earlier, not the cleanest game, not the best game, very, very average, very Ryan Fitzpatrick-like, but still, we came away with the win, and the majority of that is thanks to New York Jets. Just terrible play today, which, go Jets. Super good to see. Thank you very much for the win. Okay, so moving on to Miami's defense. Got a couple of sacks here. 2 from Emmanuel Ogbah today. 2 sacks on the day from Emmanuel Ogbah. He's been having a really, really nice season for Miami so far. He has 5 sacks through the first 5 games, including those 2 today. So he's been doing really, really well for the Dolphins, getting pressure, very active, and he also sets the edge and defends the run game pretty well too. So he's been just a very do-it-all type of guy, getting the pressure on the quarterback and doing his job. Emmanuel Ogbah, thank you so much for finally bringing a pass rush to Miami. Last year was just such a painful thing to watch. So finally we have someone who can get after the quarterback on a consistent basis. And I thank you, Emmanuel Ogbah, you're a stud. Let's see. Christian Wilkins also had a sack a little bit earlier in the game. Really nice job from him. He also did have a pass breakup at the line of scrimmage a little bit later in the game. So the defensive line for Miami did a pretty solid job. Now, we still have to improve our rushing defense. We have to improve the way that we're able to slow down the opposition's running backs, because we just seem to struggle to hold them within that 4 yards per carry. Seems like a lot of games, through the first 5 of the season, it seems like there have been a lot of games where the opposite team's running backs are getting 5-6 yards a carry, 7 yards a carry, whatever. So I would like to see us pull that back a little bit, do a little bit better run supporting. So, just kind of slow that down. But all in all, guys, it was a good day from the defense. 10 QB hits, 9 passes defensed, 7 tackles for a loss, and 3 QB sacks. This was a really solid day for Miami from front to back. I was very, very happy to see how he played on the field. So before we end the video, I do want to talk about a couple of notes that I did take as I was watching the game. So this is nothing crazy, pretty easy to see as we watched the game. So first things first, I'm going to talk about the bad stuff. So let's get the negatives out of the way. Number one negative that I noticed, this was pretty early in the game. Devontae Parker, over the last couple of games, has dropped a handful of passes. I think he's dropped 4 over the last 2 games. It's either 3 or 4, and I might be wrong, it might be 3. But he did drop 2 passes today. The first one, it was good. Yeah, it was good defense. He was covered well, but it was still in his hands. It just went through his hands. And the second one was clean through his hands. He was pretty open, should have caught the ball. And I remember last game, there was also a pass that he did not catch that he should have. So that's one negative that I did notice today is Devontae Parker has been dropping more passes lately, but he is still a very good receiver. Just needs, a little bit more consistency, and that hamstring just might be bugging him. So at the end of the day, when he's fully healthy, he's a beast. So I guess I'm just going to take this with a grain of salt. He has been dropping a couple of passes lately, but it's nothing too severe to me. He just might be dealing with that hamstring. So let me see here on my notes. Really, honestly, guys, the only other thing that I did want to talk about that I thought was the biggest negative of the game, and this is absolutely the biggest negative to me, we did not convert third downs at all this game. If I'm not mistaken, and I watched every snap, I watched every down, but I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I'm pretty sure we did not convert a third down all game long against the Jets, which is really not good. That's a big red flag, especially against a Jets defense who just is not good at all. So we need to clean that up. We have been a good third down team in the league this year so far. We just need to do a better job cleaning it up no matter who we play, because had we been playing a better team, had that been Seattle, had that been any solid team in the NFL, when you're not converting on third down, if that's a good team, they're going to take advantage, and that's going to be a much tighter ball game than what we saw on the field today. So I'd like to see Miami clean up the third down opportunities. I'd like to see Devontae Parker clean up his catching a little bit. But aside from that, guys, it was a pretty clean game. It was a pretty good game for Miami, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to say that I'm extremely satisfied with the score. So let's go ahead and move on real quick to the positives, the standout stuff. And these are all kind of going to be around what the result of this game means. So number one, this is the first time since December 16th, 2018 that we have gotten our record to 500 football. So crazy. We have not hit 500 football since December 16th of 2018. We are 3-3, and currently we are second in our division behind Buffalo. Patriots did lose today, which was so good to see. And then obviously you have the Jets at the very bottom of the league. So we are currently sitting second in our division, which is totally crazy to say. And it's the first time that we've hit 500 ball since December of 2018. I also did cover the first time for a Dolphins running back tallying 100 plus scrimmage yards since 2018. And then also the last shutout. So the last shutout that the Dolphins did, tally against another team was 2014, and then against the Jets total has been since 1982. So it was honestly, guys, just a good game. It made me happy. I was smiling ear to ear for the majority of it just because it's the Jets. You want to beat the Jets, and we did our job, and we came away with a win. So, guys, that is the game. That's the wrap-up. That's what I saw on the field. And the only other thing that I do want to talk about, and this will take about 10 seconds of my time here, and yours as well, this was a good win. It was a solid win. We played good football, but there is one thing to consider, and that the Dolphins did play a good game, but the Jets also played horribly. So the Jets playing terribly, I think you can wrap it all up to Adam Gase and his running of this team is clearly not working. Had it been another head coach, maybe it would be a more competitive game. Had it been a better team, it was probably going to be a more competitive game, especially with the third down opportunities that I talked about. So it was great to see the win, but you also have to take it with a grain of salt because it was against the worst team in the league and against the worst head coach in the league too. So it's a great win. I'm excited that we came away with it. Hopefully we just keep moving forward, making the improvements where we need to, and playing solid football. So guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for watching the video, for the support, all that stuff. We are on the road to 1,000 subs, our first 1,000. I'm super hyped about it. So if you guys want to join the squad, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Like the video if you want, leave a comment, and then also hit that bell icon for notifications. So I appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, and as always, fins up.